It's common in a number of sports for certain awards or celebrations to include an alcohol-related component. This is partly because the popping of a champagne bottle has long been associated with celebrations and special occasions, a tradition that dates back to the European courts of the 1700s, where it was viewed as a status symbol, and also the rise of secularism, when toasting with champagne came to be seen as an alternative to religious ceremonies and holy water. As I said, it's partly because of that, but it is primarily because many alcohol brands are willing to pay large amounts of money to sponsor such awards. Naturally, since every sport has its prodigies, this can sometimes lead to athletes who are too young to receive their awards. Indian cricket legend Sachin Tendulkar, for example, was just 17 years old when he recorded his maiden Test century against England at Old Trafford, for which he received the Man of the Match award, thus making him too young to drink the magnum-sized bottle of champagne that he received as his reward. Meanwhile, in 2011, despite being 23, Sebastian Vettel was told that he wasn't allowed to drink any champagne on the podium at the Turkish Grand Prix due to temporary new Turkish laws raising the drinking age from 18 to 24. So today, I thought I'd try to find 7 footballers who experienced similar struggles, and it isn't quite as simple as finding 7 players who won the Man of the Match award when they were under 18 in a country where the age limit is 18, since not all Man of the Match awards involve an alcoholic component. The Premier League's Man of the Match award, for example, has been alcohol-free since December 2012, so there'll be no Raheem Sterling or Dele Alli in this 7. Here are 7 footballers who are too young to receive their Man of the Match awards. Gareth Bale. Getting us started in 7th place, we might as well kickstart this video with a man who has very recently returned to the Premier League. A 2-time PFA Young Player of the Year and 1-time PFA Player of the Year winner, during his first stint at Tottenham, Bale has now returned to North London on loan, following 7 seasons in which he won 4 Champions Leagues with Real Madrid. To look back on Bale's too young to toast his award moment though, we have to predate even his first transfer to Tottenham, and head all the way back to the Welshman's sole full season at Southampton. In December 2006, Bale scored the Saints' winner as they beat Cardiff City 2-1 at St Mary's, and one of his finest early performances was met with the Championship Man of the Match award. Unfortunately, Bale was just 17 at the time, so the much more experienced Andrew Sermon, himself only 20 years old at that time, had to accompany him to receive his celebratory bottle of champagne. Bale left Southampton at the end of that season to sign for Spurs, and having initially struggled in the left-back position at White Hart Lane, he later became Tottenham's talisman and the outstanding player in the Premier League whilst playing on the wing. Harry Cochrane. From the south coast of England to the Scottish capital of Edinburgh, 6th place brings us to a young Scottish midfielder called Harry Cochrane. Young Hearts prospect Harry Cochrane scored the opening goal of the game as Hearts recorded a 4-0 win against Celtic in December 2017. Bringing an end to the Glasgow Giants' run of 69 domestic games without tasting defeat. Cochrane received the Man of the Match award for his performance, but aged only 16, he was far too young to receive his celebratory bottle of bubbly. Clearly not too happy with having his award taken from him, Cochrane was subsequently sent off against St Johnstone the following weekend. From that point on, until he turned 18, it was decided that he should be given cans of Iron Brew instead of the traditional bottle of champagne. Now aged 19, Cochrane spent last season on loan at Dunfermline, and the gifted young playmaker is now old enough to claim any of Scottish football's finest accolades. Jordan Morris. The recent influx of young players in Major League Soccer, combined with the fact that you have to be 21 to purchase alcohol in the United States, means that this is an even more frequent phenomenon in America than it is here in Europe. Jordan Morris is one such player who fell victim to being deprived of a Man of the Match award, although it was actually an international game and not a champagne-related issue in his case. In April 2015, Morris starred for the USMNT and found the back of the net in a friendly against Mexico, a performance deemed worthy of the Man of the Match award. Sadly for Morris, the award was sponsored by Budweiser, and since he was only 20 at the time, a year shy of the legal age in the United States, the award's sponsors decided against giving him the prize. Half of a decade on, Morris is still a regular fixture for the USMNT, and the pacey forward, who can play out wide or through the middle, still plays his club football for Seattle Sounders. Jack Wilshere. Jack Wilshere. What could have been? One of English football's ultimate what-if stories, Wilshere is among England's most gifted midfielders for a generation. Silky on the ball, neat in the pass, and capable of carving out chances on a routine basis, in his early years, he looked as though he could become the future of Arsenal and England's midfields. The injury-plagued 28-year-old burst onto the scene in some style at the Emirates, and he was just 16 years old when he won the Man of the Match award in a League Cup tie against Wigan Athletic. Despite being 2 years shy of the legal age to purchase alcohol here in the UK, Wilshere was still awarded with a champagne, which he subsequently gifted to his mum. Sadly, however, while still a teenager, Wilshere suffered an awful ankle injury which ruled him out for an entire season. He returned in 2012, but injuries have really disrupted his progress for the last 5 years in particular, and there is now talk of him being released by West Ham and moving abroad. Ansu Fati. The most recent case of this that I know of at least, Budweiser strike again in 3rd place. As sponsors of the Man of the Match award in La Liga, it has been determined that under-18s cannot win the Man of the Match award these days. That's bad news for Anzu Fatty, who was almost everyone's choice as the best player on the park, as Barcelona overcame Villarreal 4-0 in their season opener on Sunday. Fatty gave the Villarreal backline a torrid time all afternoon, but the 17-year-old had to be overlooked for the Man of the Match award. Jordi Alba took home the prize instead of him, but there's not long to wait for Fatty now as he turns 18 in just over a month's time. Christian Pulisic. I said this was a common occurrence in the United States, and whilst there are only 2 US-based inclusions in this 7, I suspect I could have found more had I kept on digging. Joining Jordan Morris is Christian Pulisic, who won a Man of the Match award in America, but not whilst playing for the USMNT. Those of you who know that Pulisic has never played professional football for an American club may be left feeling a little perplexed at that thought, but Pulisic's Man of the Match award came during an International Champions Cup pre-season game for Borussia Dortmund against Liverpool in 2018. Aged 19, Pulisic was deemed too young to win the award by the award sponsors Heineken, who instead gave it to Virgil van Dijk, despite the fact that Liverpool lost 3-1. Pulisic obviously now plays for Chelsea, and having recently turned 22, he can now drink in every country in which alcohol is legal, with the exception of a few districts in India. Federico Makeda. In a top spot, in a 7 that clearly has no defined order or structure, is Federico Makeda. When I say the words Federico Makeda and Man of the Match, I suspect 99% of you all think of one game, and indeed, one moment. In fact, I probably don't even need to say the words Man of the Match, since Federico Makeda belongs to an extremely rare category of player known almost exclusively for a single match. That game was a crucial title decider against Aston Villa, which Manchester United appeared to be fluffing in April 2009, at which stage Makeda was introduced from the bench. Most neutrals knew little about the 17-year-old Italian who came on to make his Manchester United debut. Receiving the ball from Ryan Giggs just inside the box, Makeda swiveled and curled the ball into the back of the net as he fell, earning the Red Devils a 3-2 win. The contribution was enough to earn him the Man of the Match award, but too young to receive his complimentary bottle of champagne, Gary Neville had to accompany Makeda in his post-match press conference and take the prize for him. Unfortunately, Makeda could never quite kick on at Old Trafford, only adding 3 more goals in the Premier League, but the 29-year-old has somewhat found his shooting boots since the 2018 switch to Greek outfit Panathinaikos. So that's it for today's video. Thank you all as ever for watching, give us a like if you enjoyed the video, feel free to let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section, and do make sure that you are subscribed and have notifications turned on for HITC Sevens. And you can also follow me on Twitter or Instagram, where the username is just @HITC Sevens on both.